Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a system that claims it can literally turn back the clock on aging and disease. It's called ABR-DRS, and wow, it paints an incredible picture of the future of medicine. But is it for real? Okay, so the marketing for this thing kicks off with this incredibly bold claim: turn back your body's clock. It promises this science-powered healing that can fundamentally change how we age. So let's get into it. What are they actually promising here? First up, and get this, they're claiming a 90% plus reduction in inflammation. I mean, they say this directly leads to less pain and a major slowdown of the whole aging process. That is a huge promise right out of the gate. And if that wasn't enough, how about this? A biological age reversal of 5 to 15 years. We're not just talking about looking a little younger. The idea here is that your actual cells would function as if they were from a much, much earlier time in your life. And to top it all off, a near-perfect 99% removal rate for toxins, things like heavy metals and proteins that are linked to aging. These are just massive claims. So what in the world is this system supposed to be? All right, so those are some mind-blowing promises. The big question is, how? How do they even claim to do all this? Well, according to the company, ABR-DRS isn't just one single thing, but a whole integrated system that's built on 6 core technologies. And honestly, you might want to buckle up for this, because this list of technologies sounds like it's pulled straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're talking about smart blood filtration, an AI that learns your body, a genetic age reset, bioelectric healing to recharge your cells, a cellular energy boost, and of course, 24/7 health monitoring. It's a lot. So the picture they're painting here is this continuous cycle of improvement. The idea isn't just to treat symptoms as they pop up. No, it's about creating this self-healing system that goes after the fundamental root causes of aging and disease. It's a really ambitious concept. Okay, so they break this whole thing down into 4 main steps. First, they clean the blood. Simple enough. Second, they use AI to analyze your cells. Third, they deliver these targeted fixes, things like regenerative molecules, right to where they're needed most. And then the grand finale, they reprogram your genes to act like they did years ago. No doubt about it, that is an impressive, really compelling vision. But, and this is a big but, we need to look past the marketing, right? We have to get under the hood and see what the science actually has to say about all this. And really, the first and most crucial question the scientific analysis asks is a pretty simple one. Is this even a real established therapy? Is ABR-DRS something you'd find in a medical journal? And, well, the answer you get from digging through the scientific literature is crystal clear. The term ABR-DRS as this one big unified system, it just doesn't seem to exist as a formal medical thing. It's probably best understood as a marketing term, a concept that bundles together a bunch of different real-world technologies, many of which are still very much experimental. Okay, so if it's not one system, but a bundle of different ideas, let's start pulling that bundle apart, shall we? Let's see how the big marketing promises for each piece stack up against the actual scientific evidence. And right away, this is where things get really, really interesting. The idea of using AI for personalized medicine, absolutely. That's a huge cutting-edge field, especially in cancer treatment. But that specific idea of scanning cells in real time, well, that sounds an awful lot like something called live blood analysis, which, the mainstream medical community has pretty much dismissed as pseudoscience. And you see this pattern again and again. You have this futuristic claim, right? Smart nanoparticles. It's a fantastic analogy, but what it's really pointing to are these real, super complex medical procedures. Things like therapeutic plasma exchange are established, but they have very specific uses for certain diseases. They are not a general detox for everybody. Right. So the idea of reprogramming cells, that's not science fiction. It's very real and it's incredibly powerful. But here's the kicker. The scientific analysis connects this whole concept to CAR T-cell therapy, a groundbreaking but high-stakes and specialized treatment for some aggressive cancers. It is not, at least not yet, a general anti-aging solution for gene rust. All right, so we've seen this contrast now for a few of the key parts. Let's zoom out a bit and take a more balanced look at the potential benefits versus the very real risks of these individual therapies, as laid out in the scientific evaluation. And this table really just lays it all out, the trade-offs. Take CAR T cell therapy, for example. On one hand, it can be a literal lifesaver for some cancer patients, putting them into remission when nothing else worked. But on the other hand, it comes with a serious risk of some pretty severe side effects, things like cytokine release syndrome and neurotoxicity. These are not minor issues. And this, right here, really gets to the core of the scientific concerns. You can't just mash a bunch of powerful, often experimental treatments together and hope for the best. The analysis makes a really important point. Doing that could actually be dangerous, leading to totally unexpected and potentially harmful interactions between all these different therapies. So, where does that leave us? After looking at the slick marketing vision and the more sober scientific critique, what's the big takeaway from this whole ABR-DRS thing? Okay, the big picture is basically this. ABR-DRS looks more like a really clever marketing concept than a recognized medical system. It's bundling real, often cutting-edge therapies into one attractive package. But that integrated system itself doesn't have the comprehensive scientific validation to back it up. And each of its parts comes with its own very specific uses and, importantly, its own risks. And that leaves us with this final thought, right? We all want those revolutionary cures. We all hope for breakthroughs that can reverse disease and give us more healthy years. But in a world that's moving so fast, with marketing that's so good, figuring out the difference between a real validated breakthrough and just a beautifully packaged promise, well, that's more critical than ever. Thanks for watching.